Hello, this is Joshua for Frost Dragon Designs, and today I'd like to talk to you about my Reading to Kittens hard enamel pin. This pin is part of my monthly Cute Cat Pin subscription club. Every month, members of the club get a new Cute Cat pin sent directly to them through the mail. If you join the club anytime in July of 2023, the first pin you will receive is Reading to Kittens. It ships in August. So let's get into the design. So I'm going to start off by saying that yes, this is a very cute pin design. But I also am a father of 3, and I do understand the importance of reading to your children, not only when they're little, but when they're older too. It's good quality bonding time, and if there are multiple children, it kind of creates some shared memories there. And I've noticed that even as I've started reading some less complicated books to my youngest, I'm noticing my preteens are even kind of lingering in the area, sometimes sitting down on the couch, and joining in on the fun of reading as well. And it's that experience is what really inspired me to design this specific pin. Like, the adult cat is supposed to look like they're enjoying the experience, but the kitten is just supposed to look so excited to be reading whatever this book is with that bigger cat. So as you can see, the sketch that I started working off of has the book straight on to the viewer. I don't know why I did it that way specifically, but I don't have any problems with parts of designs being straight on with the viewer as long as there's some level of depth. I don't often like things to look flat, but because we're kind of looking down on the book, I was okay with it because we're able to show dimension by having it go back in perspective. Now, what I started having problems with, though, were the placement of the kitten and the cat. I wanted the kitten and the cat to be relatively close to each other, but with the book straight on like that, the two problems that I was encountering, one, where the kitten was touching the book, almost didn't make sense. It's like they're touching the book right at where the two pages meet together, instead of like a little kid would actually be excited in touching part of the page itself, maybe a word that they recognize or a picture that they find particularly exciting. And then the other problem that I was having, again, is because of the way the two cats are connecting to each other, I kept having this little empty space between them and the book, this little cutout area. And while I don't mind my pins having cutouts or holes in the pin itself, something felt weird about it to me, and it didn't look right. I'm not sure, when I realized what those two problems really were. I just know that, as I was working on it, I didn't feel like it was coming together as well as I would have liked. And that sort of thing happens to me very frequently as I'm working on pin designs or other artwork in general. I'll be working on it and I just don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it necessarily. Sometimes I do, and that's wonderful because then I can take swift action to correct it. But a lot of times I'll just be working on something and I'm just looking at it and I'm like, I don't like this. And it can be a bit of an effort to figure out why I don't like something. I know with these videos it makes it look like, the design is done in just one sitting. I sit down and I just work through it, but that's not really what happens. I'll usually do these in several sittings over a day or two. Sometimes it's over a couple days, depending on if I'm having trouble with it. But what I'll do is when I reach a stopping point, I'll send an image to my phone. That way I have it with me. And then as I'm going about the rest of my day, I'll frequently just check in and look and see how I feel about the picture. If some part of it jumps out to me as, oh, that's the part I need to change. And I think it's that, letting it rest for a few hours and then looking back at it and then letting it rest a little bit and looking back at it. That really helps me identify what I don't like about something so I can get in there and fix it. And so in this case, I eventually came to the conclusion that it was the book being straight on that I was really causing most of the problems. So what I ended up doing was I pulled in another book that I had already illustrated before. This is actually the same book that is used in my cat napping on a book, as well as my good book in a hot drink pin designs. I ended up making some adjustments to it for this specific pin design so that it worked well, but I don't mind recycling art assets that I've already created. I think it's beneficial, as it really helps make my art consistent across a large number of pins. Now, where the challenge came in this particular case is that book in those other two pin designs does not really have writing that's got good parallel lines in it. Whereas with this pin design, with the way I chose to depict the wording with those gold parts and where the pictures are, there are a lot of straight and parallel lines, and the book itself was not necessarily designed in perfect perspective. So I kind of had to work it out as best I could to kind of fake it that those work in perspective well enough. And I did that by just trying to make the spacing between everything as even as possible all along those curves so that it would look like your brain would expect parallel lines to look on the curve of a book page. It's not perfect, but it's good enough that if you don't stare at it for too long, you don't notice any of the issues with it. You know, having just said that, that feels like a very artisty thing to say, kind of the please don't notice the mistakes that I already notice in my own work. I think the saying is true, though. Artists are their own worst critic. We are harshest on ourselves, I believe. You can see that I tried adding some words to it. I don't know what it is with me and words on pins. It's a rare case where I actually like it, so I scrapped that part of the idea and just went with the image itself of the cats and the book. And I think it just turned out so cute. I really enjoy this pin. I look at it and it makes me think of times with my own children. It makes me smile. It makes me look forward to times reading with other children. It's just a great reminder of how valuable that time is and how that really is a good use of my time. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the creation of this pin design. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts about it and spending some time with me today. If you haven't already, please go ahead, like, and subscribe. I have a new pin design video out every week, and I would love to have you along for the next one. Take care and have a great week.